Hello, I am Timwitams, your host for movies that Christians would not want to watch, here on one of the greatest sites in the world where you can find videos, just about anything on YouTube. Now, this movie I'm here to speak to you on today, this movie is called Blankman. It's rated PG-13. Now, in this movie, Blankman, played by Damon Wayans, is a superhero without powers. He's a self-appointed superhero neighborhood crime fighter. Now, if you know anything about Damon Wayans, you know he has two younger brothers, Marlon Wayans and Keenan Ivory Wayans. Now, this guy, Damon Wayans, starred in one of my favorite movies, one of my childhood favorite movies, which is called Major Payne. And what's funny about this movie is not only does Blankman have no superpowers whatsoever, he doesn't have any superhero powers. He also wears underwear over his pants. Kind of like the old school superheroes you see on TV, the way Batman and Robin used to look. So this film is not quite old school, but it kind of brings back the old school look, the old school attitude, old school funny situations where every time they do a super kick or kick somebody or beat someone up, you see the words popping up, and kind of like old school retro version of how Batman and Robin used to be in the old Batman TV series. Now, in this storyline, not only is he a superhero, but he ends up bringing a guy played as his brother. I can't remember the guy's name, but he ends up tucking his brother into helping him fight crime. Now, in the usual superhero movies, the heroes at least have gadgets that fly. Batman has the gadget that helps him jump off rooftops without hurting himself, and Batman also has the Batmobile. Now, Spider-Man has webs that shoots directly out of his hands, and he can climb up walls. As far as Superman is, he could actually fly, and he's very strong. As for the X-Men, they have mutant powers. Wolverine, of course, has the claws that come out of his hands, for instance, and then you have RoboCop, who's a crime-fighting robot cop that used to be human, who was murdered. And then you have Thor, who has the strength of 20 men. Okay? So this isn't your typical superhero. He has no powers. He does, however, have some gadgets that don't quite add up to Batman and other superheroes, but nonetheless, this movie amuses me because the way the film is made, and it's a decent film, except for the cursing and sexual references and all that. Now, Blankman is, when he's not Blankman, he's Daryl, a guy who works at a science lab area. Okay, he works on gadgets in his science lab. Now, his arch nemesis in this movie, the bad guy's name is McNelly, an arrogant mobster who wants to take over the city. This film's storyline is pretty much solid. It has some humor. However, this film has sexual references and some foul language, and uses the Lord's name in vain off and on. So if it wasn't for these things, I would give this movie an A+. But because of these things, I have to drop my rating of this film to a C minus. A C minus. Because all the cursing, in this movie that these curse words consist of the H word being used 5 times. 5 times the H word is used. The D word is used a whopping 12 times. A little ridiculous. The word heifer is being used once, which is a disrespectful word towards women. The SH word is used a whopping 10 times. However, this movie doesn't have the F-bomb being used. I have to say that's a good thing. The F-bomb is a little extreme. Well, way extreme. And then the a-hole word is used 1 time. Now, the A word by itself is being used in this film 4 times. The BAS word is being used in this film once. Now, the Lord's name being used in vain is 8 times. 8 times they disrespect God by using His name. And then this film has a total of 22 sexual references. And then there's 1 drug reference. Altogether, this movie has a total of 32 curse words. That includes the Lord's name being used in vain. I add that as a curse word, the Lord's name being used in vain, because you're disrespecting God. I know some of you may not think, that the Lord's name being used in vain is not a curse word, but it is. Whenever you use the Lord's name in vain, you are cussing. You are cursing. That's the bottom line. Now, all together in this film, with all these cuss words and everything it has in it, Hollywood wrecks this movie with this movie had a lot of potential if it wasn't for Hollywood wrecking it with all the cussing, the Lord's name being used in vain, the sexual references. Come on, Hollywood wrecked this film. It had a lot of potential if it wasn't for all the garbage Hollywood adds into this film. It seems that Hollywood just don't care. They don't care that they trash a good movie with potential. They don't care if they trash the movie that kids watch. They don't care if they trash the movie that teens watch. And that's how I feel about Hollywood. It seems that they wreck a lot of movies. If you've seen any of the newer Batman movies, you'll see that it has cussing in it. If you watch any of the X-Men movies, you'll know it has cussing in it. If you watch any of the Superman movies, the Incredible Hulk, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all them movies, Hollywood has wrecked. It's ridiculous. Wake up, Hollywood. Now, I hope you join me next time for my next movie review. And fans, if you like these movie reviews and you like how I'm doing things, you think I'm doing a good job, please at least put the thumbs up, which means you like the video. Just tap it. If you can, please subscribe to this channel, to my work. I love doing this, and I hope to get a lot of viewers. Well, I gotta go, and see you next time on movies that Christians would not want to watch. Until next time, God bless and goodbye.